welcome back to Old School, New School, episode 35. Let's get right into our second sponsorship.
Well, first, I'm Scott. I'm Old School.
I'm Chester. I'm New School.
And yes, we have a sponsor.
Yes.
Who's our sponsor?
Fabio.
Fabio. The best. Thanks, Fabio. Fabio, I work with Fabio at the Volume. He's the most positive person, one of the most positive people I've ever met in my life. Always happy, always has a great attitude. I wish I could be more like Fabio. He's just a really nice guy. You met him at SummerSlam.
Yep.
Anything to say to Fabio?
I thought he was very nice.
Yeah,
and,
unfortunately,
pretty cool dude.
He's a great guy.
But he's a Bears fan.
He's a Bears fan, but we don't hold that against him because he's such a great guy.
Yeah.
So, Fabio, thanks for the sponsorship. You're going to sponsor the next couple episodes. If somebody else wants to sponsor us,
go ahead.
Hit us up in the comments. We'll get in contact with you. Anyway, okay, moving on. We're going to talk about the losers.
Yeah.
One statement on each team that lost in the first round of the playoffs. Let's start with the AFC and the Steelers.
Not expected. I mean, let me rephrase it. So I meant, it was expected them to lose.
All right. Do you have anything to say about the team, though, in general?
Oh, no. I don't think they would have beaten the Chiefs at all.
The Steelers, it's kind of pathetic that the Steelers were the 7th seed.
Yeah.
The AFC should be ashamed of itself. Okay? That's about it. Next, the New England Patriots. What do you have to say about them?
Embarrassment.
Embarrassment?
Yeah. The Bills beat Bill.
Yeah. Rewind to a little over a month ago. You can check it out. After they beat the Bills, we did a podcast called "The Patriots Are Not As Good As You Think They Are."
Because they aren't.
Because they're not. They're a decent rookie quarterback. I don't think he's going to be a franchise quarterback. I think he's going to be a decent quarterback. And they're in trouble because they spent a ton of money in free agency this past year. And sure, you can shuffle stuff around. And they've got the rookie QB contract, so that'll help them. But I don't see the team getting better. Okay, moving on. And finally, in the AFC, the Raiders.
Raiders luck.
Again, I'm not sure how. Again, they won ugly. That's how they won games. I didn't watch a lot of their games. They won a lot of close games. And you got to kind of give it up to the players and the interim coach because they were a mess when Gruden got fired.
Yeah.
It was a disaster.
But we also got to talk about how the Henry Ruggs thing. He went to jail.
That's not good.
For a DUI. And then another player got arrested later for also DUI. So that Raiders fans, I kind of feel bad for you. You guys have the worst luck.
Or get it together. Get some quality control.
Yeah.
Have somebody talking to these players about what's feasible. Listen, you can go out, you can get loaded, get drunk, get a cab ride home.
Yeah.
Get an Uber Lyft, get you home, no problem. Don't drive drunk. That's stupid. Okay, moving on to the NFC.
All right.
Eagles.
Also expected.
Right. And similar to the AFC, NFC should be ashamed that the Eagles were the 7th seed, the 7th best team. That's not great. It actually makes the 7th playoff spot not look like a good idea.
Yeah.
Because they were not
6 playoff teams, no bye?
Well, I'm okay with that. It's just maybe the limit is 6 good teams per division because these 7th they're not playoff teams.
Pretty bad.
Yes, Cowboys.
why would you run a QB sneak with no timeouts, no time left? Actually, I have a good idea. You know who it is?
No, go.
Mike McCarthy.
What?
He's just a horrible coach. Gotta fire him.
I don't think they will. I said to a friend of mine who's a Cowboys fan, you've got 3 years with McCarthy. This was been the second year. If he doesn't win it in the third year, they got to get rid of him. I honestly would have. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Well,
As a Packers fan.
well, here's my thing about the Cowboys. Dak, good quarterback.
Inconsistent.
Inconsistent, you mean?
Inconsistent, sorry.
He's a good quarterback. He's not a franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
He makes far too many mistakes
Yes.
at the worst times. Bad passes.
Yeah.
And Mike McCarthy is the laziest coach in the NFL. He has talent, and it's wasted talent. That team should have been a lot better than they were. And finally, let's talk about the Cardinals. What do you have to say about the Cardinals?
Listen, ever since they lost to the Packers, their team just went on a downhill. That's what I'm just going to say.
I just think they were unprepared for this game, and you can't go into a playoff game unprepared. I think it falls solely on the coaching staff.
Yeah.
They knew their offensive line was terrible. They didn't plan around. Their plan was, Kyler Murray will be fine. Yeah. Obviously not. He looked awful, but I don't think it was his fault. I think it was such a terrible game plan. And that's my opinion on that. Anything else on the losers?
Not really.
Okay, we're gonna move on to
matchups. Divisional.
Let's talk about the AFC matchups for the divisional round. The first game that we're going to talk about is the Bills at the Chiefs. What's your thoughts on this one?
Revenge game from last year, and I've got the Bills.
Just because of it's a revenge game?
I don't know. I mean, both these teams have looked good and bad, and both are very offensive heavy. Like, because the Chiefs' defense is pretty bad, and
they were really bad at the beginning. They got better as the year went on. I also have the Bills in this matchup. The only thing I'm concerned with for the Bills is a kind of letdown. They had a very emotional game. Everything went right for them. They played great. Huge divisional rival, huge monkey on their back that they got. Yeah. That got off. You worry about, them falling back. I honestly think the Bills are more talented on both offense and defense. I think
agree.
They're the better team. Again, with the AFC, lots of ups and downs, lots of good wins, lots of bad losses for all teams. But I think the Bills are going to go into Kansas City and win that game.
I do too.
Anything else on that one?
Nope.
Let's move on to the Bengals at the Titans. Want me to go or you want to go?
You can go.
I want to pick the Bengals, but I'm going to pick the Titans.
All right.
Put your hands down. Yes, the Titans. They had the week off. Derrick Henry may play. He's been cleared to practice. We'll see if he actually plays. Again, another team not sure how they win. And the Bengals looked good in their game. They didn't look great. Like, there was a lot of talk about how great Joe Burrow was, and he played well. But they only beat the Raiders by 7 and an interception at the goal line.
Yeah.
To save them. I think the Titans are a stronger team.
Okay.
What is your thought?
I'm going to go with the Bengals. I think the Titans are frauds, and I don't think they're great. If Derrick Henry is starting, I do give Titans a higher chance, but I still think the Bengals will win. All right.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so those are the picks for the AFC.
All right. Let's move on to the NFC.
And let's talk about the NFC matchups.
Yep.
First is the Rams at the Buccaneers. What's your thought?
I am actually going to go with the Rams. I don't think a good matchup for the Bucs is the Rams. And I think they will get pressure on Tom Brady. And they will force him to throw some bad throws, which will lead to the end of the game. And I do think it'll be very close.
Yeah, this is a tough one for me to pick. The Rams defense looked really good.
Yeah.
But they were going against just a makeshift mash unit of a offensive line for the Cardinals. If the Rams, I've said this before, and it's what the Saints do.
Yeah.
If the Rams get pressure up the middle, that's what Tom Brady hates. He absolutely hates it. And if they can pressure up the middle, I think they will win. And yes, I think I'm going to go with the Rams as well. I'm not sure about this Buccaneers team. They had a lot of injuries, but everybody's got a lot of injuries. That's not really an excuse.
Yeah.
I think they match up well against the Buccaneers.
All right.
I guess that's not the greatest,
Explanation.
Yeah, it's a little weak, but nonetheless, that's what I think. I don't know, like. Tom Brady's going to totally make us look silly.
Yeah, probably.
And win the game because that's what he does. But yeah, we're both going with the Rams. Okay, moving on to some other NFC game, the 49ers at the Packers.
I'm going to All right, I'm going to take the Packers. I don't like this matchup for the Packers because the run game that the 49ers have is very annoying. And if the Packers can't stop it, then they're going to lose. But I've got the Packers. It's at home. It's supposed to be very cold. And I think they are the better team.
Yes, they are the better team. They are at home. And yes, there is the concern about the run game. But I don't think it's not going to look like the 49ers against the Cowboys. And unfortunately for the 49ers, they have one weakness.
What was that?
That weakness is Jimmy Garoppolo. And he's the guy who has the ball in his hands.
Mm-hmm.
I have one message for Matt LaFleur.
Mm-hmm.
If you win the coin toss,
take the ball.
Take the goddamn ball. Take the ball and score. Do not let San Francisco take the ball first. Take 8 minutes off the clock in a night game that's going to get your team totally cold after. Just take the ball and score a touchdown. Get out in front of this team. Make them play from behind.
Yeah.
Is he going to do that? No. You almost hope that the 49ers win the toss and they defer.
I think every coach in the NFL defers.
Maybe. But maybe if the 49ers were smart, they won't. That's all I got to say on that.
Right.
I think the Packers are better. Again, there is the concern of the run game, but what's his name? Who's the defensive big Kenny Clark.
Yeah.
It's great that he's back because he's awesome.
Someone loves him.
I think he's my favorite Pack. I think he's great. Double team all the time. Takes them both, gets a sack or just pressure. Like, he is super awesome. Kenny Clark, you want to come on the old school, new school? You're welcome anytime. I think that helps a lot. And that's again, I think like against the Cowboys, Jimmy threw just the most terrible interception.
He's horrible.
And what's his Raul Douglas? Rasul Douglas.
Rasul Douglas.
I'm gonna put it down right now. He's gonna get an interception this game because I don't know. He's like a ball hawk this year.
Yeah.
Like he's always where the ball.
Yeah.
He seems to be really great at studying film, and he will jump a route if he knows that he's got coverage behind him. He's been a great.
He was a free agent that they signed for like
that's the crazy
$500,000 or something.
That's the crazy thing, and he's playing great. So we both got the Packers. But the only difference we have is that the Bengals-Titans game.
Yeah.
Which is okay. Everybody have a great 4 games of football. We're running out of football games for the end of the season. Thanks again to Fabio for the sponsorship. We really appreciate it. And enjoy the weekend, and we'll get back with you next week for the championship games. Okay. Peace out.
Peace.